Hi, I'm Melissa, and this is the Book Break. Today I'm at Salt Lake City FanX, and today it's all about the hair. I mean, look at this guy right here. Hair, and let's go talk to an author with good hair. Keith DeCandido. Let's go.
It's badass.
I am here with Keith DeCandido, and I'm so excited to talk to him. I mean, first of all, look at his hair. We're like hair buddies.
We
right
are,
here.
yes, that's true.
And also, he writes some super cool books, obviously. So your most recent book that came out was Alien Isolation.
Yes, it is based on both the movie series, obviously, and also the video game that came out in 2014. It's about 2/3 an adaptation of the game, which is about Ripley's daughter. She's 25 years old between the first two movies, trying to find out what the hell happened to her mom, because all they know is that she's missing. And she goes to a space station where they have the flight recorder for Nostromo, and it turns out the people who found the flight recorder also found a facehugger, so by the time she gets there, it's been overrun by a xenomorph.
Oh my god.
The game action, if you're playing the game, is you're Amanda Ripley trying not to die. That's about 2/3 of the book. Yeah, exactly. That's about 2/3 of the book. The other third of the book is Ripley family backstory. I do a lot of flashbacks to Amanda's life and also Ellen Ripley's life, so we get to see what Ripley was like before Alien, some of the jobs she took on before that, what led her to the job on Nostromo, her life raising Amanda, and then Amanda's life afterward being raised by her stepfather after Nostromo went missing. So
awesome.
So that's what that's about.
And now you have been writing a really long time.
Yes, 25 years as of 2019.
Okay, so this is a pretty big anniversary for
I guess, yeah.
I guess, just 25
Silver anniversary, so send me presents, please.
Yes, please. Okay, and you have been doing this for 25 years.
Yes.
But tell me about your first published book, because that's super interesting.
It was a Spider-Man novel. I was working as an editor at the time, editing a line of Marvel Comics-based novels and short story anthologies. Prior to 2008, it was the most extensive non-comics storyline done by Marvel.
Yeah.
Then Kevin Feige went and stole my thunder. But we had like over 50 books that were all interconnected and were consistent with each other. We created one big continuity. And I did a Spider-Man novel as part of that. I wrote it with Jose Nieto, and it was called Venom's Wrath. And that was my first novel.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Okay,
So
and then you've done a number of other day jobs prior to being a full-time writer.
I was an editor for a while, and now I've been full-time freelance for 21 years. So my freelance career is now old enough to drink. I worked as an editor, I've worked as a writer, I do nonfiction, I write about pop culture for Tor.com. I write regularly for them. Currently I've been rewatching every live-action movie based on a superhero comic.
Wow.
So it's called 4-color to 35mm, the great superhero movie rewatch.
So do you have superhero costumes?
No.
Oh.
I don't really. My wife is a costumer.
Okay.
She makes costumes. In fact, she made her wedding dress.
Oh,
but
wow.
but no, I don't really costume.
Okay.
I have occasionally dressed up. Twice I've done costume. I've dressed up as Silent Bob and Ardith Bay. That's really all I can do with the hair and the beard. You know?
That's fabulous. Okay, tell me about these books that you're holding right here, because this is a part of your other series.
Yes. I have a couple of original series going. Dragon Precinct is the first book in my fantasy police procedural series. It's kind of Law and Order meets Lord of the Rings. One reviewer called it Dungeons and Dragnet.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah, I love that. I wish I'd come up with it. But
Hair matches.
Exactly.
Good.
Yeah. The latest book is Mermaid Precinct, that came out this year, and there are 5 novels so far in a short story collection. I have 2 more novels and another short story collection under contract. So it's in a high fantasy setting with humans and elves and dwarves and wizards and magic and such. But the main characters are cops who solve crimes.
Wow.
So it's a mix of those two, you know, putting the fantasy chocolate with the mystery peanut butter, kind of.
Great.
And I've also written a great deal of Star Trek fiction. This is but one of them. This is actually a short story anthology I edited called Tales from the Dominion War, which is what the rest of the Star Trek universe was doing during the last 2 seasons of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
We only really saw the Dominion War through the lens of Deep Space Nine and those characters. This expands it out. We see Picard and the Enterprise. We see the fall of Beta Z. We see the Klingons, the Romulans, Spock, McCoy and Scotty, the Corps of Engineers, the New Frontier crew, the Breen attack on Earth, all that.
Yeah.
So it was the story I did for it is called The Ceremony of Innocence is Drowned, which is the fall of Beta Z from Lwaxana Troy's perspective.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty heavy, actually.
Yeah.
So, and I've run over a dozen Star Trek novels. I've written a lot of books featuring the Klingons. I did a series of books that take place on a Klingon ship. I wrote a novel called Articles of the Federation, which is a Star Trek version of The West Wing.
Oh, wow.
It's basically a year in the life of the Federation president. And that character, President Nanbako, actually went on to be a major supporting character in the Star Trek fiction. Like, everybody wanted to write her, because, which was great for me,
Yeah.
I patterned the character after my great-grandmother, who passed away in 2003.
Wow.
And she could absolutely have run the Federation with no problem. And she became, like I said, she became a major supporting character after Articles came out, which was great. I've done a bunch of Next Generation novels, Time for War, Time for Peace, Q&A. Q&A was the ultimate Q story.
Yeah.
Which was so much fun because Q is such a snot, so he's so much fun to write, And I've done some Deep Space Nine novels, a few Voyager stories here and there. I've pretty much covered every show at some point or other, except Discovery. I haven't done Discovery yet.
Well, maybe that one's next.
I hope so.
That's great.
So
when you're not writing, what do you do in your spare time?
Spare time? I'm not familiar with this concept in the least. Well, I do, like I said, I do some editing still on a freelance basis, and I'm a martial artist. So I got my 3rd degree black belt in an Okinawan karate style called Kenshikai. I got that in 2017. I not only train still regularly, but I also teach. I teach a couple of after-school karate programs to kids,
awesome.
And I also teach a kids fighting class in our dojo.
Yeah.
And I sometimes fill in for other people teaching whenever the guy who runs the dojo goes on vacation. I'll teach some of the classes. But I love doing the after-school stuff. That's a lot of fun. It's really fun.
What age do you teach?
The after-school programs are between the ages of 4 and 8.
Oh, wow.
And then the kids fighting class I teach is anywhere between the ages of 6 and 16.
That's great because those ages, it really helps build their self-confidence.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. And some of them it gives them focus too.
Yeah, which is super important.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, well, I have really enjoyed this. Now, where
Likewise.
can our viewers find out more about you?
Best bet is to go to DeCandido.net. It's my last name, DeCandido.net. It's a very primitive website. It looks like it was designed by somebody who learned HTML in 1996 because I learned HTML in 1996. But it's a link dump, basically. It has links to my most recent books, ordering information for those, and it links to all my social media presence, my blog, my Facebook page, my Twitter feed, my Instagram account, my Wikipedia page, my work on Tor.com, and elsewise. So that's the best place to find me, and you can email me from there as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Keith.
Thank you.
Great. And thank you for joining us on the book break. We'll see you next time.
I wrote What the Single Eye Sees actually as individual talks or sermons that I gave in sacrament meeting. And every time I gave one of those talks, I had lots of people ask me for copies. It got to the point where I was sending out dozens of copies of the talks to people, and I thought maybe I should organize them into a book so they'd be accessible by more people. The principal focus of the book, as it's stated in the subtitle, is faith, hope, charity, and the pursuit of discipleship. And so I hope people who read the book feel like they have a better understanding of the relationships that are what are faith, hope, and charity. One of the key principles outlined in the 4th section of the Doctrine and Covenants for discipleship is to have your eyes single to the glory of God. That's a New Testament concept that Joseph Smith felt inspired to include in his discussion about the qualifications for being part of the work in this era. And so I use it as part of the title in order to emphasize the eye single to the glory of God. I hope you enjoy it. You can find it at barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com.